Hey everybody, DFS Hero back with another video. In this one, we are going to cover stacking for MLB. So let's get started. We are already on the lineup optimizer screen for an MLB slate. So I'm going to now head down to the gear down here to go to our advanced setting options. Then I'm going to head to the stacking section. You'll see under stacking, we have two stacking types. We have team stack and we have quick stack. For the first one I'm going to run, I'm actually going to do the quick stack. This is sort of a more generic way to run lineups in stacks. So here you're actually just choosing the numbers of players you want, not the specific teams that you're looking for. So in this case, I'm just going to run 5-3 stacks and 5-2 stacks from all the teams on the slate. Next, you'll see these percentage boxes to each stack type. Here, I'm going to enter the exposure I want for that stack type. So I'm going to do 50%. So I'm going to get half 5-3 and the other half 5-2. I'm going to click apply. Next, I'm going to head down to our optimizer screen. I'm going to enter 50 lineups. I'm going to hit calculate. And here we should get 25 lineups of 5-3 and 25 lineups of 5-2 stacks. I'm going to click on the exposure button so we can check it out. So it looks like we have our 25 5-3 lineups, and right now we're building our 25 5-2 lineups. Great, so that's how quick stack works. Next, I'm going to head back up to the optimizer. I'm going to click on the gear again. This time we're going to switch it over to team stack. So this one gives you some more detailed options and some more rules you can set when you want to set your stacks. So we're going to start with the default. We're going to allow this first rule, and we're going to use 5-player stacks. I can either leave this blank, and that'll then allow 5-player stacks from all the teams. I can set a max exposure per team. So let's say there are 10 teams playing. If I set a 10% exposure and I ran 100 lineups, we will get 10 5-player stacks from each team. All right, for this case, we are going to actually choose a few different specific teams. So I'm going to choose the first 5. And you'll notice as soon as you start choosing specific teams, you get some more options. You get batting order allowed, positions allowed, and max gap. One thing I want to note is if you go over 6 teams in this box, those options go away. So there is a limit for those details. It's just too stressful on the optimizer. So we kind of limited it so that things wouldn't just get slowed down and you get frustrated while trying to run those lineups. I'm going to go back to 5 teams here. I'm actually going to change my exposure to 20% so I can get even spread of those teams. Then under max gap, this is references the batting order. So right now, any gap, it doesn't matter if it would allow the first place batter and the 5th place batter, noting that there's a gap between those two players of any size. If I want to restrict something like that, I can either set it to no gap. That would give me potentially the 1st through 5th batter, or it could give me the 4th through 8th batter. So it all depends on the most optimal lineup and how you're optimizing. And again, you could set this to 1 player, so it'll only skip 1 player in the batting order. Again, any of these, if you go with anything other than any gap, or if you make any changes to batting order allowed or positions allowed, just like anything in the optimizer, the more constraints you put on your calculations, the more issues may run into because there just may not be as many lineups that are actually possible. So in this case, I'm going to change it to any gap. Batting order allowed, if I want to eliminate all 9th place batters from those teams, I would just X them out. If I want to add it back, I go down to number 9 and select it again. And the positions allowed, let's say I don't want any catchers in my 5-man stacks, I can just eliminate it that way. And I'm going to click apply. We're actually going to add a secondary stack. So to do that, I click add item. And here it just added another rule for me. This one I'm going to keep pretty generic. I'm just going to do a 5-3 stack. I'm going to leave this open for all teams with 100% exposure and click apply. So now that we've applied those settings, we can head back to the optimizer and we are going to run 100 lineups with those stacks. And again, we can head over to our exposure over here and we can check out stack type. So you'll see, even though we selected 5-3, it may not be 100% of that stack type, just because it also adds in the pitchers. So now we may be having pitchers from the same teams. So if we go to teams, you'll see here we have 4 teams when we really asked for 5, but the other ones will show up under here because it may have added the pitcher. Here you can check out all the players and the exposure, and that's the gist of the different stack types that we have for MLB. Hope this helps some of you out, and if you have any more questions, head to our Discord.